Hi, I'm Liam Kazar. You're watching Record Shopping with Shuttlecock at the Vinyl Underground at 7th Heaven. So I picked up some records today, courtesy of Shuttlecock, and I'm going to talk about them. This first record I got is by a group called Slave. And the record is called The Hardness of the World. A friend of mine gave me one of their records a couple years ago that has the tune Just a Touch of Love on it. And that just became my immediate go-to dancer whenever I'm at a friend's house and want to get the room up and moving. And that whole record that song is on, I don't know if that's the name of the record. It's got I think the lead singer holding a baby on it on the cover. But so I'm gonna give this record a shot and see. I have a feeling it's gonna be funky and it's gonna have a bunch of good sounds on it. And yeah, we'll see what happens. And then pretty much anytime I go into a record store, I sort of beeline towards the crooner section and check out what sort of records they have from the old greats. And I picked up this record by the Nat King Cole Trio called The Vintage Years. And I grabbed this one. There was a bunch of them up there. I grabbed this one because it's the trio, and he's a very underrated piano player. He's a great piano player. So yeah, I picked this one up because I didn't recognize any of the songs, and it's a cheap, these records always sell for a couple bucks or something, and in my opinion, it's well worth the money to spend $2 and find a hidden song that's been buried for, 50 years or whatever. So I'm going to give this a listen and see if there's an amazing tune on there I haven't heard before. And then this is another classic crooner by the name of Frank Sinatra. And this record's called Close to You. I love this record. I've heard this record a bunch. It's sort of the opposite from the Nat King Cole one. It's got a bunch of classic tunes on here that I adore. But what's incredible about this record is really the strings that are playing on it. It's arranged by Nelson Riddle, who's a great arranger, and the Hollywood String Quartet plays with them. And it's really quiet, so you can hear Frank's voice and everything that he's doing with his voice. Super clear, as opposed to when he's trying to sing over Count Basie Orchestra or sing over a big on Capitol Records ensemble or something like that. This is just four people, so you can hear exactly what he's doing. And I actually covered the title track Close to You for Aquarium Drunkard. So I love this record, and I've been looking for it, which is why I was psyched to find it. Marianne Faithfull, A Child's Adventure. I don't know this record, but I love Marianne Faithfull, and this record came out in 1983, which is right in my wheelhouse, sort of sonically, for the music that I make. I'd say 73 through 83 is kind of I keep going back to that era for sounds that I love, that I'm trying to emulate. Actually, let's say 71 to 83. So I don't know these tunes, I don't know this record, but I love Marianne Faithfull, and I'm excited to listen to it. And I have faith in the tunes because she printed the lyrics right on the back cover. And that makes me think that there's some great lyrics, some great tunes in here. I like the song title, Ashes in My Hand. The Blue Millionaire, that's another great album title. I mean, I have faith it's going to be a great record.
Is there a record, an album by her you'd recommend to people?
Gosh, she has a really famous record that I'm forgetting the name of. I'll look it up. We should look it up. I'll look it up right now. We got time, right? Oh, she has a great record called Broken English. That, if you haven't listened to Broken English by Marianne Faithfull, you should. It's incredible. And then The Ballad of Lucy Jordan, I think is actually on that record, which is a great tune. What else we got? I picked this one up last minute because it's my favorite movie, The Sting, with Paul Newman and Robert Redford. They made that movie sort of after the success of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, and this came out a couple years later. It's got James Earl Jones' dad is in this movie, and it's got a great performance by Robert Shaw. And it's my favorite movie. It's set in Chicago a lot, which is where I grew up, and I think a little bit in St. Louis. But Butch Cassidy is sort of like the one that everyone knows, but The Sting is my favorite. Such a good movie. So I got the soundtrack, which is mostly just a bunch of Scott Joplin piano music, or maybe only Scott Joplin piano music, but I don't know. That's sort of a sort of like dessert album for me. So next record we got on the docket is another one that I don't know but had to grab. This is actually, we're in Kansas City, Missouri right now, and this is a big band from Kansas City, Missouri. I didn't grab it because of the big band. I grabbed it because of the name of the big band, which is the Ararats, which is significant to me because I'm Armenian, and Mount Ararat is the mountain in Armenia, and I think it's very odd to find a big band who are wearing, gosh, what are the name of those hats? Fez. Yeah, the Fez hats. They're wearing those. I think it's just a bunch of white dudes wearing those hats. But the name of the band is the Ararats. So if it sucks, I'll probably give it to my mom just so she'll get a kick out of it. But who knows? Maybe I'll find a KC hidden gem big band that just happens to have happens to be named after a mountain in Armenia, which is very random and awesome. Mount Ararat is where supposedly like Noah's Ark landed, so maybe there's some connection to that. But I don't know. It's pretty much up my alley. Big band, Kansas City, and Mount Ararat. That's like, I think that's got a whole lot of me in a nutshell right there. So we'll see if that's any good. I had to pick up a classic record that I've been looking for a while, that I've been looking to find a decent price on. Something Else by the Kinks, David Watts, Lazy Old Sun, Waterloo Sunset, one of the greatest songs of all time. And I was on tour when I was sort of late to the Kinks. I didn't know about them until I was I knew some of the hits, but I didn't really like listen to them very much until I was like 20 or so. When I was in a band where this British guy was like schooling me on the Kinks, and we were on tour together in Europe, and stumbled across this record, I think in Oslo, and it was like $8. And he was like, you should get that. It's cheap. It's a good record. But I wasn't really buying records at the time, and I was like, I don't want to fly with it back to the U.S., so I'll just get it when I get back to Chicago, which is where I lived at the time. And I have since never found a copy I rarely see a copy under $30, and I've definitely never seen a copy under $20, and that one was $7. Anyway, so I had to pick it up. It's long overdue. It's an amazing record. It's a classic, and I don't have it. Now I have it. And then finally, I got one more record. I don't know this person, but they seem like the real deal. Tito Sampa, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Looks like he's Congolese. And all these songs are sort of like, you know, like a lot of African music is like super rhythmic based. So he's got like a few like, I don't know what these instruments are called, but sort of like vibraphone adjacent sort of African traditional instruments. And it just looks like it's going to be an amazing record. So I grabbed it. And it's still wrapped, so I know it's actually going to sound good. And the record is called Yow, which, great name for a record. No notes. So yeah, that's my haul. I don't need, how many records is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 records, and I can't wait to listen to all of them. Yeah, so I put out my first album. It's called Due North in August. I put it out on Mare Records, which is an imprint of Woodsist by my friend Kevin Morby, runs the label. And I was working on it for a long time. That album was like really inspired by this Al Green record I love called the Bell Album. And I'm super excited now. It's like the vinyl has finally hit like record stores after being delayed for a while. But you should check it out. It's fun. I'm more fun than I seem right now, at least on a record. Yeah, Due North. Yeah, my record's available anywhere you listen to music. So, Due North, Liam Kazar, give it a shot. If you dig it enough, go buy it in a local record store near you. I'm Liam Kazar. What is it again? Hi, I'm Liam Kazar. You're watching. One second.